Hi, my name is Carrie Thridgold, and I will be discussing environmental and cultural factors that impact sexual assault victims. Sexual assault is rarely on the evening news, and sexual assault occurs frequently. And when it is discussed in media or in social media, sexual assault victims are often blamed, and the perpetrator does not suffer the consequences from their behavior. And discussing the frequency and the impact of sexual violence and the prevention that is necessary could benefit sexual assault victims if discussed. Family support is so important for the victims of sexual assault. Cultural awareness is becoming more prevalent, and there are many resources now that are available for families of sexual assault. There's family services, there's county and state resources, there's behavioral health units, there's therapy, there's online support, and there are hotlines that are all great resources. Peers play a very important role, especially in young adults and in teens. Victims are often under scrutiny, and the assailant is given leeway. Sexual violence is much more common in college compared to any other crime. Increasing education about assault prevention is really important in middle school and high school and college. And increasing education can assist in providing more supportive environment for peers and also creating the environment to report when you are assaulted. Sexual assault occurs quite often in a cyclic nature. 25% of women ages 15 to 49 will experience physical and or sexual violence at the hand of their intimate partner at least once, and 20% will experience a lifetime of violence by their intimate partner, which averages 641 million women. 38% of female murders that occur are committed by their intimate partner. In the last few years, there has been a lot of media coverage with high political officials that have sexually exploited or assaulted women and men, which has created the Me Too movement, which is a culture of reporting and speaking up and out about assault that has occurred. And quite often this has happened 20, 30 years ago, and they're speaking out about it now. Rape culture occurs when survivors report the crime and the case is not reported, it's not investigated or prosecuted. And rape culture is the belief that the victims have contributed to their own victimization and what has happened to them. And this is a really negative culture. 995 out of 1,000 sexual assault perpetrators will not serve a jail sentence for their crime. There are a lot of potential barriers for sexual assault victims. There's a huge culture of blame and shame where they don't feel like they can report what has happened to them. And in a lot of areas, sexual assault has become a normal thing, and we discount the impact of sexual assault and how the behavior. We stigmatize the victim, where they're the one that gets the blame and they're the one that gets a label attached to them. The perpetrator's action gets discounted and people support them. Failure to report it, and just that fear of being punished. So there's many barriers that are potential for the sexual assault victim. Internationally, sexual assault happens a lot all over the world, obviously, and shame happens, and they're shunned by their family and their community, and they're forced out of their homes. So socioeconomic disparities are quite large for sexual assault victims, and it really does impact society. Women can suffer isolation, inability to hold their job or to work, lose income, lack of social interaction with others, and it can limit their ability to care for themselves and their children. Vulnerable populations that lack economic stability do have a higher sexual assault rate. And living in a more urbanized neighborhood can lack security and community resources, which can promote unsafe environments. There are race and ethnic health disparities for sexual assault victims. American Indians experience sexual assault 2 times more likely than any other race. 1 in 5 African Americans experience forced sexual intercourse, and there is a high prevalence of assault in racial minorities. In misogynistic religions, there is a male-dominant role where women are subservient and can experience sexual violence. Dogma is where followers accept their fate and they think that God has this plan for them and they need to experience this assault. Female genital mutilation happens with the villager's consent or man's consent. 1 in 6 American women have experienced rape. This equals 17.7 million women. Females between 16 and 19 are 4 times more likely to be sexually assaulted, and it is the highest crime in college. 3% of American men will experience rape, and 1 out of 10 sexual assault victims are male, which many have come forward during the Me Too movement. The highest sexual assault rate in Utah is in Duchesne County, and 1,000 per 100,000 individuals experience sexual assault. Rape is higher in Utah than the national average. In 2018, Polynesia and the surrounding islands experienced the highest number of sexual assault violence in the world. It's at 37%. The next highest volumes are in Southern Asia and in Africa, which is 35% and 33% of partner violence. There are many implicit and explicit biases that happen with sexual assault victims. There are racial biases, there's gender biases, there's religious biases, moral biases, attribution biases, confirmation bias, and beauty bias, all implying that the victim deserved it or they were wearing the wrong outfit or that based on their race or gender that they deserve what has happened to them. Internationally, regions with lower incomes experience a higher rate of intimate partner sexual violence, and that average is around 33%. Regions that have a higher income still experience really similar types of violence. So instead of 33%, they're still at 30%. So there are health disparities around the world. There are many cultural and environmental things that impact sexual assault victims. And I hope that this has been informative and helpful on what resources there are and how we can promote change by understanding the disparities. Thank you.